people, there are people who have invested. How many people have bought Remoruti plots here? Wako hapa, na ukija uwaulize. Later on, we are hanging out at Mariera Conference Center. You know where it is? Hilton. Tulienda huku. Tukimaliza, either there or here, we can have a moment when you can send her, ask her about the opportunity. So when she comes here, Honorable Jane, we want to know about you, Laikipia, the opportunity. I know you alluded earlier on what Laikipia is compared to Kiambu. I hear this lady is very dynamic. She is domed. She's been in the government, and I'll let her do that. And of course, when I heard she was Wageshi, she had a special spot in my heart. So let us put our heads together as we welcome the Honorable Jane Wagechi Kagiri kutoka Laikipia County. And when you are done, please go ahead and invite your colleague. God bless you.
Sure. Thank you, Bishop Gigi. To everybody, Bwana asifiwe.
Amen.
You know when you've spoken once, twice, no, that time you don't know if you've bored people. Bwana asifiwe. Amen. Mungu ni mwema. Na kila wakati. Or you guys only know English. God is good. And all the time. Oh, thank you. For those who have arrived after I had spoken, my name is Jane Wangeshi Kagiri, the woman representative, Laikipia County. And I'm grateful to God for that opportunity, and also grateful to each one of you, because I know you must have said a prayer when we were headed to the elections, and I'm sure you were telling God, give us the leaders chosen by him. And for us to have won that election, I believe it's an answered prayer to each one of us, and the fact that the elections were peaceful, again, we thank God for that. So today I come here to say a very big thank you to you all, and especially again, thank you, Bishop Gigi. We got to know each other, you embraced us, you loved me even more when you heard I'm called Wangeshi, and for that I'm very grateful, and to everybody who has hosted us. Becky, we are so grateful, and every other person. Charles, I cannot speak enough about you. You supported my campaign, you pushed me to join UDA, you supported students whenever I've called upon you to support, so again, I'm very grateful for that. Just to let you know a bit of who Jane Wangeshi Kagiri is, my qualifications are in BSc Computer Science, and beyond that, I mastered in business administration. Again, I went back to school, studied entrepreneurship, and so I ran my own company from the year 2007 to the year 2020 as an entrepreneur. And unfortunately, when COVID hit us, my company was largely affected, and at some point I just had to accept, and I closed it down. Fortunately, after that, the former president, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, called me and told me he wanted to appoint me as an advisor to his office. So I was appointed as an advisor on gender, youth, and ICT, where I served from the year 2020 to the year 2022, when I resigned to contest for the position of woman representative Laikipia County. Of course, having resigned, contested, me being here today, I'm sure you must have known the outcome of all that, but I like to mention that this was not my first attempt. At the age of a very young age in 2013, I made my first attempt for woman representative Laikipia County, and that time I came a close second. Of course, I was beaten, I lost a lot of energy, so 2017, I decided not to go back to the ballot, and I sat it out and watched how things unfolded. But 2022, all glory to God, I was able to come back, and this time God gave me victory. So again, I'm grateful for that. For me, I don't think I'm the main speaker today, but I can't live without mentioning a lot about Laikipia and also letting you know the opportunities that we have there. It's good to mention when I declared that I was contesting for woman representative Laikipia County. First, I'll repeat something Honorable Muratha said yesterday. This position is called woman representative and not women representative. Woman representative, why? It is one woman elected in a whole county to go represent that county as an MP. So our roles remain legislation, oversight, and representation, not just for the women and youth, but for the whole county as a whole. So any issue affecting a Laikipian is an issue that I'm supposed to table in Parliament and follow up for our people to be well taken care of. So for me, I would want to just quickly mention what my vision for Laikipia is, and it's something I call the 3 E's. And my first E is education, my second E is economic empowerment, and the third E is called equity. So if I would quickly just mention a few of the things where I think we can partner and we can call on your support. In regards to education, very simple things. The first one is mentorship. I mentioned to the team we were with yesterday, I'm calling upon each one of you. I'm sure at some point you find yourself in Nairobi. Please reach out to us, or even in Kenya, whenever we are going down to these schools. Join us, please. Let's speak to our children. Let's encourage them. Let's show them there's a future for them. That is just one small ask I have for, to you. Number two, what I want to do in regards to education, there's a lot of infrastructure problems that we have. I'm sure on social media, some days you wake up and you see there are students who still learn in mud classes. There are others who are still learning in wooden classes. My humble request to each one of you, remember your first love, where you got your first education. It might have been a school in Mohoteto, it might have been a school in Shemanei. Remember that school. The little you can, let's uplift the schools that made us who we are today. So for that, I'm calling upon you. Please remember your alumni. Remember how you can support these schools and see how you can work together with the local community to empower students there. The third issue in regard to education is, of course, I've been trying to get a lot of scholarships for our students. Fortunately, so far, I have secured something from Malaysia, from Angola, from Netherlands, from Hungarian government, and I'll keep doing so much for the students in my county. I like to mention, for me, when I was called to university, my parents were not in position to educate me. So what they did, they called upon the community came together, they gave me a university education, and that's what makes me who I am today. So for me, I also try my best to ensure every needy student has an opportunity at education, because we don't know where that education will actually lead them to. For me, I can say it has led me to a very good place. So that is the third thing I'm doing, trying to reach out for scholarships for students. The fourth thing is, of course, I also do a lot of resource mobilization, and in that regard is, I gave a very simple example yesterday. For us, sometimes when somebody tells you, please support a needy student, you do your math and you're like, the amount of school fees you're spending on your child is too much. But let me give you an example, and I'll quote the Bible, Matthew 25, verse 14, where we speak of the 3 servants who were given talents. The first one was given 5. When he brought back to the master, how many were they? Aki hamsomangi Biblia. When he brought 5, they became 10. The second one was given 2, brought back. And the third one was given 1. So my humble request and prayer to each one of us, let us not be the third servant, whereby the day of judgment, God will ask you, Jane, I blessed you with this number of children. You educated those children. You have not multiplied your talents. Let us on the day of judgment say to God, yes, God, you blessed me with my children, but beyond my children, I picked another 5 children who are strangers, and I decided to educate them. Then God will say, our talents have been multiplied. So in that case, I would want to just give you an example. If you go to a day school, for example, in Laikipia County, the annual school fees is $120. I'm sure, ladies, there's somebody who buys a dress at that amount. There's somebody who buys lunch at that amount. There's somebody who buys a shoe at that amount. So just that small amount of money, or that large amount of money, can secure a student's education for 1 year. If you break it even down further, that is $30 a term. Oh, sorry, $40 a term. So in case you find yourself having something to spare, we are reaching out to all of you to help us support our students and at least help them excel in their studies. The last one is, which is the last one? Sorry. The second one, sorry, is economic empowerment. In regards to economic empowerment, that's now my second E. In that regard, I speak about how I'm going to help our women's groups, our youth groups, and even PWD groups. So what I've been doing is to bring financial advisors to these groups. They speak to our women, they educate them on how they can multiply their money. And that way we have, of course, so far seen a lot of progress as we wait for the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, which is supposed to be given to each woman rep to support their communities. So that is one way I'm trying to economically empower people. The second thing is we have a lot of talents. I'm sure here you have many footballs, many volleyballs, many basketballs, many institutions that can support a talented student. Please, when you hear of those opportunities, just reach out to us so that we're able to support our local communities there. In the same case, we also have persons living with disability whom we are trying to empower how we can. Of course, you'll hear they need wheelchairs, they need the white canes, they need a lot of aids. If you can just think of a person who is differently abled. Those are also certain other groups that we are trying to support in our communities, and we are calling upon each one of you. Where you can, please feel very, very welcome to support us and to work together with us. Of course, when I go to my equity, if you know the geography of Laikipia County, we have Laikipia East, Laikipia West, and Laikipia North. Laikipia North, unfortunately, is a constituency that has been left behind very many years. So we still find our people struggling so much, and that is one of my visions that I need to bring it up to be at par with the other constituencies. Of course, our biggest challenge in Laikipia is something we call water, and we call it water, and we call it water. That is our biggest problem in the county. And so what we are trying to do as the leadership of Laikipia County, personally myself and the governor, we've partnered, and we've decided we have to try and get as many tanks to each household in Laikipia County. Because when it rains, we want our people to be able to harvest water, so that even as we wait for boreholes to be drilled, or even water pans to be dug, our people can still have available drinking water. I'm talking of communities who have to walk 17 kilometers a day to actually get water for their household use. So those are some of the problems we are trying to tackle in my county. And again, I welcome each one of you to support us, to work with us. And above all, I know that is where all our blessings will come from. I don't want to talk much beyond that, but I want to invite you all. In the morning, those who were in the service, I joked and I said, Kiambu people here ni wengi because kule unagawana maplot. Sindio? And those plots are counted by footsteps, not even by acres or what. Sindio? So I'm inviting you all, for anybody who is keen on making an investment, welcome to Laikipia County. In Laikipia County, we need binoculars to see the end of our land. Uko kwingine, najua mna counting steps. Wewe maina, usipite pale, yako inaishi hapo. So I invite you all to invest in Laikipia County, and especially a place like Rumuruti, where there is land, and then again now we are sure that the government's having to settle there, the opportunities will even be more. Of course, you must have also heard, I sit in the housing committee, we have the affordable housing project that is coming up, and it's going to be in every county. So sometimes, of course, you worry about an investment you want to make in Kenya. When that time comes, please feel free to buy these houses, because as His Excellency the President mentioned, currently our e-citizen portal has 300 services. But within 6 months, it's going to have 5,000 services. That will mean if it's the affordable housing, just like we did with Boma Yangu, you can go online, pay for that house, keep checking how your payments are growing, and at the end of the day, you're going to own a house which you won't have to worry. Did Jane pay the money I sent her? Didn't she pay? Is she building a real house? Is it a fake house? Is it the neighbor's house? So all these insecurities are going to be taken care of. Number 2, please, if you hear of tourism, Laikipia County is the place to come for tourism. I'm sure many of you don't know we have such good lodges in Laikipia County. Nyinyi endeleeni kuenda kwenye kila mtu wako. But I'm telling you, the best place to be in is Laikipia County. In fact, if you check, it has been rated as the #1 place where you can see the big 5 in 2 hours or less than 2 hours. So if you want to see them quickly, ama you're on that holiday that you aren't sure if you want to see all the animals, please come to Laikipia County. You can be sure you'll enjoy your stay. It is very peaceful. It is very nice. And of course, it's not by mistake that they said the Texas of Kenya is Laikipia County. So let me stop at that. I'll be open for any questions. I invite your partnerships. I invite your support. And above all, we are ready to work with you. And I believe the biggest gesture His Excellency the President showed is by appointing a PS in charge of diaspora. I have never heard of that anywhere. So for him to have gone that step, it means he listened to you, he appreciates your concerns, and he wants a solution to those concerns. So thank you so much for the opportunity. When I was doing my campaigns, I kept telling people, one day I have to go and engage our diaspora team that is in America. Little did I know, it is God who plans all these things. So for us to have met with Bishop Gigi, and he tells us, Kujeni, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. And it worked out very well. So I know this is God actually implementing all the prayers and the plans that we placed up before him. So with those many remarks, allow me to now welcome my friend, my sister, a woman we respect, a woman of honor, a woman who advises us, a woman who has become an MP, a wife of a bishop. Nisaidieni tupigie makofi Honorable Anne Wanjiko Muratha. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much. I'm just about to ask, where does this service start and where does it end? Because now I think Bishop umenichanganya sana. I don't know at what point we start, at what point we end. And I've also seen Bishop is one person who makes use of his opportunity properly, because we had for many times tried to organize for this meeting. It was never possible. And because I only appeared today, now I think this is the 4th time I'm speaking. So I don't know whether there will be a 5th time. And I tried to find out from him last night so that I prepare and know what I'm supposed to speak. He never said anything. But I asked the wife, you know, ukiona mambo ni ngumu pitia kwa mama. And mama told me at some point he will call you. He will keep calling you. So, so I think she has gotten used to how he operates. And so I'm not very sure I have a 5th time of speaking. I do not know. But he has made proper use of his time. And Muratha, the politician now. Number one, Jane has said I'm a wife of a bishop. I'm not a wife of a bishop. I'm a wife of an Anglican reverend. In the Anglican Church, the bishop is so senior, is too high and mighty, that when you call me a wife of a bishop in the Anglican Church, you almost want to elevate me to some point. I'm not yet there. Muratha is a reverend in the Anglican Church, serving in the Diocese of Mount Kenya South. Mount Kenya South now is Kiambu, and is currently serving the men. He is in the Kama department, the Kenya Anglican Men Association. That is the office he's running, and running also the missions as the director. I'm a mother. I'm a singer. Those of you that never knew, I'm a singer. And I was telling the bishop that I have sung all my life, if I can remember. In primary school and in high school, I used to do it for Moi, faithfully. I am the one who did it properly for Moi. Rais Moi, baba taifa Kenya, ongoza Kenya nchi yetu. Ongoza Kenya nchi yetu. Tangu ulipo shika uongozi Kenya, umoja umeongezeka. Umoja umeongezeka. Moi, ongoza Kenya. Jane was not born. Tawala Kenya, tawala. Unaongoza vyema. Rais Moi. And I realized I was born musical. And as I have told you, I realized who I was because I knew my father. And a lot of my traits are picked from my father. Because I remember, my father used to teach me how to sing. And I know there's this one song that he kept teaching me how to sing. Oh, he there, oh, haria, ando mata, ngenyona, ongeo, now. And he could open his coat. No, he there, how. I didn't like the person who changed the version of that song. Ate oh, he there, haria, though, ita genyona. I think the author of that song was right. Haria ado matagenyona. Ado ne omani na mudu. Riu tari inyu muguku mugitara ndeto iria andu maragia cianyu na manaria tiga ne ngai mugia kuire tene. But by the grace of God, you are where you are because God wanted you to be where you are. And I hated the person who changed that song. Ginya ndaiguire kumwira aine rwake ko ndamenyire no. Tondu hitha haria andu matanginyona. Tondu andu matinyendagira wega. And I really want to thank God that this far the Lord has brought me. A number of you have seen me doing counseling, doing everything that I've done. I'm seeing events like I emceed for, what is this lady? The lady was just, yes, I did her event. I was also, what do you call, cakes, whenever you want the best cake matron in Kenya, that was Muratha. And to a number of people, that was the best that I could have ever become. And I was also a singer. And I have told you, I am born musical. I love music. As long as the song is good, it doesn't matter who has sung it, how secular it is. That's my favorite. Unimenyete kore wendo ni undu waku tuwe ngamenya ndaturaga weroine kundu kwaririo waine. Because I always ask myself, honestly, we are not able to interpret things the way they are supposed to be. Because like now, those of us who are married, and even those who are intending to get married, what song do you sing to your lover? Riu taru gwakinya Valentine, riu utamuratha jangiro ni kumuinira ruruku. Ndire na ihakinie, wehoka mutharaba, ndejaga humbaguo, ndemuhuthu ndeithai, ndĩomwĩhia mwĩhia no ngũthiĩ gĩthima gĩaku there hingo ĩno ya muoyo ona ĩrĩa ya gũkua ndariũka na ndamu. And a day of love, muthenya wa Valentine twaragio horo wa hingo ya gũkua. Riu muthenya ucio wa wendo twagĩrĩirwo riu ona ta ithuĩ tũtungataga mũthuri ta ũcio wakwa ndamũkora hau ngamũinĩra gũtirĩ kĩndũ kĩmũrĩ thĩ ĩno ta kũmenya he mũndũ kwendete mũndũ gwĩciragia ũroma wega kĩhoyaga kũhoera wega njiguaga ũru wĩ mũrwaru ũremetwo nĩ gwĩkĩra ũndũ korwo nĩ kũrwaranagĩrwo ndakũrwarĩra tondũ wĩ mwega ai ya mũgo wa Wanjikũ nĩngwendete na ngoro. And you know, it's only that people forget that songs minister to different places of our lives. There are songs that ministers to our hearts. That is why when you go to any meeting that has Kikuyus, even if niagikuwa muthemba ũrĩkuo na mĩitũ ĩrĩa mĩũru biũ, wambĩrĩrie tũtiga warĩ mwena wakwo kĩrũĩrĩra thũ cia ngoro gũtirĩ mũgĩkũyũ ũtahehenjagwo nĩ rwĩmbo rũu igũrũ rĩa maũndũ nginya rĩu wĩ Ngai wĩkaga magegania ũiyũrĩ kana ũine ndingĩhota cokeria wega waku Mwathani ĩno nĩ ndakũyotũmage ngwende mũno wĩ mothe igũrũ wa mothe ciugo cia kanua gakwa itingĩ ona mũgĩkũyũ ũrĩa mũremi biũ gets humbled by those songs tondũ ciaragĩria ngoro. No ithuĩ tũcokaga tũgakorwo na ũhiki haha tũkawĩinĩra tũmonia biririnda just the same as, because now it has changed. We are now speaking to something else. No ithuĩ tũcokaga tũkaina ingĩ rĩu icio tũinaga cia Samido ingĩhota Arigo sidana nawe, nige otago tigana nawe, ikoria wo, violeta na goro yakwa, aganema, tikorago. Bishop stands to take the roll call. And you know, the reality is that when I sing this song, you are able to flow with me. Meaning, these are songs that communicate to all of us. They are songs that we are never interested in singing, but we will sing those songs that are ministering to us. Ona twarakara nĩ kũrĩ nyĩmbo cia marakara cinagwo nĩ ũrĩa ũrakarĩte ta rũrĩa rwa Pastor Kuria rĩrĩa twacemania nawe ũthekagia ta ndĩ mwega na twatigana ũgatwara ndeto ciakwa kũrĩ andũ angĩ ngũria kaĩ hatarĩ ũndũ wakwa mwega we ũrĩ wona tondũ gũtirĩ ona ũmwe mwega wakwa we ũrĩ wera mũndũ mokinyi horo cari ũndũ mwega harĩ niĩ ona kabothi ũkere andũ atĩndĩ na gacati kerũ karatũ karĩa ndarĩ nako kogomu nĩ ndacenjirie ona maguta nĩ wona ndiakaga magũkama icio ti rumi nakuire njeri wa ng'ang'o gĩthiĩ kuga nĩ wanyona tũgĩtheka twĩ ngari-inĩ atĩ na nĩ na nganja ngũria hihi nĩ ũndũ ũrĩkũ tũngĩkire ngari ĩrĩ bara thibindi 80 ũnjaragia wĩguna nakĩ itikorumana. In music you communicate, and those of you that are, I'm seeing a number of you like they come from my generation. The generation where people sang for Moi and Kenyatta. And they were also being communicated through music. Oria muonaga, we sing to God through music. When we worship and we start enjoying the presence of God as we are worshiping, then God comes and comes through for us. And you see people crying in the presence. No one other makiathi, mainagero presence yego kadra mari kwende ya moi ni moi. Onda fara na Kenyatta. Sietagio na rwĩmbo barabara no ya ito nĩ kwenda rami mũthamaki witũ nĩ twahoya tũthondekerwo bara ĩthĩe rĩmwe. And you see what used to happen when the president joined the music, it meant that road will be fixed. See, that is the truth. Oria gai nake oka presence ine ya rogosho rwake rĩrĩa tũramũgoca. It means we are sorted. So in music we learn so much. Jen Kagiri was not born then. Hĩndĩ ĩyo president mainagĩrwo mũndũ agacommunicate. Cukuru citũ nacio ciothe nĩ irenda gũthimindwo. Mũthamaki ũngĩruta thimindwo ciana ithome ĩthĩa rĩmwe. And so, those are the things that I've been doing. And I have been communicating to people through what they understand. And as I had told you earlier, I personally am a psychological counselor, but I decided to contextualize it to our culture and bring it to our levels. When they talk about a man, I want to look to narrow down, not to just an African man, but to get to a level of thinking of how a Kikuyu man looks at life. And as I looked at all those things, and I saw myself rising in that social life, and I got employed by RMS, and I worked for 7 years as a family counselor on Inoro Radio and Inoro TV and doing whatever's on Viusasa. I thought the Lord is taking me to other levels. So at some point, I realized that God had specially called me to be the voice of the boy in our society. Because when I looked at what was happening in the society, it almost became like it was a crime to be born a man in our society. And it is like we reached a point and we lost interest in the seed. The other day, I was talking to the single mothers, and they were asking me, well, Muratha, you keep talking about this boy. And my brothers, I have 3 brothers. They are all drunkards. And they are all by the roadside, drinking. And they leave home at 6:30 to go and drink. And you keep insisting that culturally, my son is supposed to ask for permission from them to go for rites of passage, or for circumcision, to be precise. And this one single mother was asking me, what do I do to my son? And I told these ladies, listen and listen good. Bishop Gigi, maybe somebody like Gideon, the rest of the men that we are seeing here may look very honorable men. But can you imagine they are not your brothers? That very drunk man outside there in Wangigi shopping center, in Gatondo North, in Gatondo South, in wherever you come from, that is your brother. And because he's your brother, he's the one that is going to give permission. Then they're asking me from where? I tell them from the roadside, where he is. Just give your son 1,000. It's even cheaper, because 1,000 to him is a lot of money. 1,000 or 2, just go and give him. Mwana ucio ekurathimwo muthenya mugima. Muri ucio gutinda kuu agicera kambe yoyothe akiuga mangai guku gutire mundu ungi wa bata tiga Kimani wa irimo witu icingi ciothe ni ngoma. Ndauga arue na hone na arathimwo ni Ngai. Ino yothe ndiranyua muthe akiria mwana wa irimo witu mangai ucio agwitura. Ucio akiria we unyendete. Ngai wa iguru ma. Urore mwana ucio wa my sister ma na gatuitwo baba ma. Ngai ukarathime mangai Ngai we wa iguru urathime. And I mean, what else are you asking for? So I'm only saying it just got into me that we need to do something about what is happening. And so I thought of vying for the seat of the woman rep. Why? Because the seat of the woman rep, as I studied, that is why I started speaking since yesterday. That is not the women rep. You are not going to represent women. It is about representing the county in the assembly. And I thought we had 2 very major problems in Kiambu. And all these were about our boys. Number 1 is alcoholism. It is on a high level. And I need not to explain. And the worst hit, I don't even want to explain. If we have people here from Gatondo North, Gatondo South, Gashie, Wagige, Gekoni, Banana. Those are the worst hits. When you look at, we used to go for campaigns by 10. There are 2,000 to 3,000 young men drunk. And as the deputy president then, and as he kept speaking on his vision, and his agenda for the county, and his agenda for the country, you looked at our miserable young men, and I was asking myself, are they connecting with what we are telling them? They were not. They kept looking at the president and kept telling him, you know, us, we live for today. We don't care what happens tomorrow. And you know what? If nothing is done, and I'm speaking to the people of Kiambu, if nothing is done, we might lose 2 generations in Kiambu County if nothing is done now concerning our boy child. And that is now why I would want to say, like Jane Kagiri has said, you may not be able to do so much, but you can be able to do what you can to your community. The education level in Kiambu has gone very low. Those of you who have been brought up in Kiambu know very well that the people who first went to school in Kenya are people of Kiambu. The people who first saw the lights, the people who first saw electricity, the people who first saw TVs, the people who first saw development of any kind were people of Kiambu. But today, our children in Kiambu have no role models. They have no people to look up to. Because all of us deserted and we went and nobody cares. I want to imagine a number of you maybe keep off because of the political issues that happen in the county. Maybe you just want to come and try to help and somebody thinks there's something you are interested in, and especially in issues politics. But again, I'm saying you can do your very small thing. We are looking, we've been talking with the governor. We are talking of issues of like rehabilitation centers where we'll try to see how we can help these boys. Because even when you talk to them, you realize a number of them are seeking help. It's only that they have no one to listen. There's no one listening to them. Because it's like they have annoyed everybody and people are looking at them like sinners. And that is why when I offered myself on that platform, I got very many votes from them. And you could see the many sub-counties where they were going to vote. And I was being told by the people around there, and even the officers in the polling centers, they kept telling me how this young man walked into the polling stations and they said, "Kia woman rep toranegera boy child. Boy child, ithe twatigeirwo Ngai na wa Muratha, niwe turanege." Because it's like they are feeling Muratha is going to give us hope. It is like they are feeling Muratha is going to change our lives. If it is not in the side of alcoholism, then we still have another issue that I have already put a motion in Parliament. I'm told it's supposed to be tabled next year. I'm trying to look at it. We are trying to look at it with the people who help us in Parliament to do it because of the sexual act in Kenya. The sexual act in Kenya also has put our boys in prison. Reason being the minors. A 17-year-old and a 15-year-old decide that the fun they are going to have is going to bed together, and both of them are in agreement. But the law of the country says it is the men who pursue women into sexuality. So what happens? The boy goes to prison, the girl goes back to school. And I went on that platform and I said, we need not to take a 16-year-old to the prisons, to go and stay there with criminals, and leave the girl to go back to school. And we destroy the future of this boy, and let the girl go to school. Let us miss any one of them going to prison. But let us see what we can do as a society and try to guide them. I'm trying to look at how to do it so that I don't get into trouble with the activists when they start saying that I am for the women being raped and whatever they would want to say. But again, I'm saying let us take care of our children. And much more, take care of the seed. And the seed is in the boy. Our tomorrow is in the boy. I've been talking to older men and telling them, they are feeling like the men who married their daughters are very nice. They're very good guys. And they keep saying, "Ni maundu makwa, ona ndamahokeire muthuri wa Wanjiru. Tondu aya arefi, ndirĩ no maingĩ kĩndũ gĩakwa." But do you know, arefi no makuĩte mbegũ yaku. Muthuri wa Wanjiru ndarĩ mbegũ yaku. Muthuri wa Wanjiru mbegũ ya kwao. Aya arefi ni wagĩrĩirwo nĩ gũthathĩrĩra and let them be what you wanted them to become. But men get frustrated at some point and they want to really to do away with these boys. I'm trying to talk to women and telling them it is a high time, and I thank God I'm seeing women now starting to understand what I am saying, because there are some women who can't even go to church, because by you are going to church, all your sufurias will be sold to the drinking places. All your thermoses will be sold. You see, and if you have to close the door, you have to close and then look for somebody to come and sit by the door so that your sons don't come to sell your utensils to go and drink. It is that bad. But again, I'm saying this, all is not lost, because there's still something that we can be able to do. I'm still feeling we have a God who loves our community. We have a God who still loves Kenya. We have a God who can come and through for us. And so what am I saying as the woman rep for Kiambu County? What do I have to offer? What do I have to say? Number one, you remember when I started campaigning, you remember at 2 points, at some point, I was really embattled over the issue of mental health. And I said I want to be dealing with the issue of mental health because I know it's going to get on the rise in the year 2022 because of the post-COVID attacks and everything. And you remember what I went through, those of you who are fans of social media. Nimona keiguire. Wa Muratha araugire muri aguruki. Andu a Kiambu othe muretirwo aguruki. Ngirumio wiki ngima. Etanathira another video I don't know from where. Na kwa githika kigirwo kundu kagirirwo gatene ka makeki. Wa Muratha na makeki. And I almost died. I almost died at some point. I really got so frustrated, and I almost asked myself, why did I bring myself to this? But you know what? I later came to understand that if I didn't go through all this, I would not have known what God can do. I would not have gotten to a point of saying, I made it through, and I don't know how I did it. I made it through, and I can't tell how I did it. But one thing I know, Jehovah took it over, and now that is how I made it through. You make it through frustrations, through whatever we go through, and you people are a good example of what people go through to get to where they are. I'm sure it has not been easy for you to get to where you are. to come to America. And our people look at you as the source of everything in this life. And our people imagining that when you come to America, you only switch on a tap. And there is a lot of dollars flowing there. And you have to support everybody in the family, including shosho, washosho, todo socio, na socio anyumare ithi omwe, ciana ciake no uhote guthomithia tondu wathire ruraya. And when you do not do that, then you are bad. And I'm sure a number of you have gone through all this until you mature. Now you no longer care. You live your life. Na woka Kenya ukarega guthiginya kuu gaikara mukawa ugathi kumageithia. Muri okuo tondu wageririe ukigeria ukiremwo riu ni wanogire riu ikara mukawa ugathi ukamoria muri okuo haya ati mwina hiki I'm coming for the wedding, I'm coming for the uthoni no gaikinya ku Wanjiru wa tata wa irimwe guku eteire ma kuma thiruraya ukarigwo weteire mwina oku. But you see, the bottom line is, when you fight this battle, you mature. Now you are mature. You don't care what we say about you. We say so much. But now, haria mukinyite angiko ni umakaga we uri omwana ni utigitie matuku maku gimara. Eko ni umakagio muno ni andu a Kenya marauga we guku wina gathina wite kamucemanio. Mundu riu we guku ukinyite maturity level, you don't care what they say, what they think. You do what you think is right. You help who you think you need to help. Who you don't think you need to help, you say you do not have. And you move on with life and you're not guilty. Why? Because you have to make a decision. So what am I saying? I'm only saying that I chose politics. And Kenyans have a tendency of saying politics is a dirty game. But again, when you look at the Muslim community, they plan themselves. They get their leaders. They plan themselves even from the mosques. They send their people to go and present their agendas. And they're able to flow with them. But what happens to the church people? We pray for God to give us good leader. Heavenly Father, give us good leaders. We are waiting on you to give us good leaders. And even Bishop Gigi leaves America, comes to Kenya and do a very big prayer meeting for God to give us leaders. From where? From heaven. It is also equal to the women who stay in church and they keep praying for husbands. God, I'm praying for a husband. I know that you can provide. There are no husbands in heaven. Husbands are here. You are praying for God to give you a husband from heaven. Na wageithio guku ndugeithikaga ni mwitio. Geithi tu siki ndugeithika. Na nyimbo na irainwa togoro tou twaku twawoire tu. Kwende tugakorwo na miatuka. Haiaye. Twende tugakorwo gacuere kau na kawoire tu kwende kare tuika shagia haiaye. It is about time ugatiga nguthi tondu atumia ingi magite athuri ndimeraga uguo single mothers ndimoragia aria mapiu ati hau ukinyite nduru worio ni mundu no kiri ukiuragio no nundu uri uraigua wega ri no ria mekera gwitikira ri no ria kiero kiimbite ri ukiriganirwo kiero ni uimbore kiimbuka by the time kiraimbuka mathaa ni mathirire. So it's also important kurora time na tondu guku mutigikuraga ri ona 50 githe mutigikoragwo hotoiretu. Even at 50 you are still a girl. Ite toguo uri okairetu no wone mundu na umi tugikara uguo ati ndurona mundu. And you can start it up again. Who said no? You still can start all over again. Now wambiririe muturire and you move on because life is lived once. No ka enjoy muturire waku and you are able to go and go and go. So what I'm saying is this. I've realized a number of things are never spoken in our community. So in the area that the Lord has blessed me in the area of counseling, I am planning to be speaking to my people. The reason you're seeing Jen Kagiri getting closer to me, Jen is a very brilliant girl and has worked for the government for so many years. But the reason she's coming closer to me, because she is feeling that kapat of telling our people this is what it is. That is where she wants me to come in through in Laikipia. no na nikamwira nake athi thirikari ni ambia ndehere mbeca niyo ikuria ciumaga turi hanie arehe mbeca tutware Kiambu tugathondeke macukuru na ni thi gwake ngariria atumia na thuri ndimere ma style up na single mothers ndimere mahike. Bishop Gigi ni ajirire talk to the single ladies. Single ladies kindu kira mbere kira ingimwira ni wendo endeka, ukipendwa pendana, because it is important kupendana. Lakini kama haujapendeka na hujapendwa, you still can live your life. And he said you have children. Your children can get a role model. I like your kind of church, which to me, in the few hours I've been here, I've realized it's a family church. A church where you people come and stay the whole day and no one seems to be in a hurry. Yani mohana guku muinuka mwero muinuke. And you know, in such a place, and you see in such a place, this is where you are finding a bold young man, like Dr. who? Dr. Jesse can come and dare the bishop. I want to preach. Because it's a church where he has observed men and he wants to be like them. And he has looked at men coming to church, has seen them with ties and suits, and he said on that Sunday, I also want to look like them. I want to go where I normally see them go and speak the way I normally see them speak. So these men are mentoring the boy. So he wants to be where they are. And I want to start growing. And he's not brought by his mother, not even by his father. But because he has grown up, you have brought your child and led them to a level where they are able to understand that even if I don't have a father that I can call my father, there are men who can father me in our church. And I would just want to be like them. So, and he decides he's coming to preach. And the day he's coming to preach, he comes with a suit and a tie. And I remember when I sat next to him, yeah? Or every Sunday. Because he has looked at the men here and looking at them, that is how they are dressed. So the boy has admired them and has wanted to be like them. So, akaona ko misbehave, that is what he still would have wanted to be. But he has looked at them and desired to be who they are. So when we sat with Jane in the morning, and Jane came and talked about what the young man had spoken, he had stepped out. So when he came back, I asked him, where were you when we were reciting your message? And the boy tells me, I'd gone to the vehicle to change my time. To change my time. Mwanosho ararora akona, maybe I'm not yet there. I just want to be where they are. So I'm speaking to mothers. Even if modosho niago sherire siana na keraga go shirera. As long as you are also consistent in the church. Consistency. The problem with women is today you are here, next Sunday you are in another church, the other Sunday you are in another one, the next one there is an apostle somewhere, women na apostle. You know, men don't believe in those things. I remember the guy ingeni. I remember that guy wa mami wao. And that is why you are finding a number of men here. If I would look at them, I don't need to be told. A number of the men here are Presbyterians, Anglicans, Catholics, Koreamaharirwo, Norebonyi, Naga, Hogwagediaga, Hakuhema. Keria gai no atumia o monafi orokire anaposo mathie kuhoerwo you know, and women love being laid hands on rimora ndumenya ni maroho mariko wathie kugira, but as long as ni kurahoyanirwo you are there. Women, be consistent with your altar. If your altar is this one, be consistent here. Because it is only on this altar you deliver your children. It is on this altar you as a single mother bring your children and you speak to yourself. And you tell your heart, I never got married, but I know my sons will get married. I never got married, but I know my sons will get married. because I believe in a God who can change situations. So what I'm saying is this: women, be consistent in your faith. It is still in this altar. Kuri uko mundu haha urecariria mundu akore ni uthire mururo na kuu gucaria ngeithi tene woka guturehera ngeithi sande mwathani agocwo na nie sande ndathomire kuria Washington thiete kuona my sister na mundu ungi akwendirie ari guku tiga mucenene na kokindiria kanitha. Be consistent in your faith, be consistent in your church, and not just coming to the altar. An altar is not a place where you just come. It is a place where you plan to come. Na woko woko kiugaga nyimbo cia Ngai witũ twacinaga tũgĩtwara magongona ma njino mbere yake tũgĩkũngũyagĩra nĩ kũmenya tũrĩ ohore twahota atĩa kũmũinĩra. Style up. It is just at this altar where you only need to call the bishop or any of the pastors and say, I want to come at the altar. And I don't think it just has to be a Sunday. It can be any day. I want to come and bring this prayer. And you don't even have to explain to them what it is about. You only come and bring it at your altar, not at any altar anywhere else, at your altar. And this is where we ask for our beginning. Even for the widows. Tugitura hau wiraga ciana ati thogu agikua uramera thogu agikua magwike atia niwe yohe muhotoro ta ngirethi mathomithie mutheni athire ndaracoka no coke wigurukie ku umerage thogu niwe wakuire ngioya ite icio mother father husband and wife kumugutha mugokome toro. Let them know you are in charge and you have no apology. Aria genera magaririe kihiko gikirema. You tried it. You did everything. Ukiona ndugukua niguo kenia andu. Ukiumeria na karia watuite. Riu ukiumagara no githie. No githie ukinaga ndageririe kihiko gikirema. No ndageria Jesu akihotana. Eta mugerie onawe. And you live true to yourself. No one has time for you. You need to accept yourself and move on, regardless of what may have happened. A lot may have happened, even for you to have been here. But you owe no one an apology. You have a life to live. You have children to bring up. You have a family to take care of. So all you need to do is seek your God and take up your mantle and move on. So some of these things are the things I want to be speaking to our people. Why? Because the church has spoken a lot about going to heaven. But still, before we get to heaven, there's so much that we need to do before we go to heaven. Kui maundu maingi muno tugukorwo tugika guku tita tene riria twahonokire kionoko kiria twahonokete tene kiari gia guthii iguru very soon. Ona nitwainaga soon and very soon we are going to see his soon and very soon. Macaka ya mothe twakorwo tugithii iguru muthuri wakwa nyendete na ciana ciakwa nyendete rĩrĩa ngaigua karumbeta ũmũthĩ tũtikaiguaga twaikarire gũkũ. Some of those things. And I like the way we really wanted to go to heaven. But now we realized, before we go to heaven, there's so much that we need to do. And what we need to do has to be very practical. Reason why I opted to become the woman rep for Kiambu County. So that the things that I want to do, I want to go to that boy who will tell me I am hungry. And I will not pray for him because hunger does not need prayer. I will give him food because I can be able to get him food from the office that I have and give him food. I want to go to that constituency. I want to go to Raleigh constituency and find a group of young men seated under a tree with a lot of hopelessness. Speak to them and give them hope. And when they tell me, "Woko, amratha jeshi tigenu," I'm able to buy them bread because I have money from the office that can buy them bread. And after that, we want to also start teaching them on what to do. Because when you now come to places where there are tea and coffee in Kiambu, and you do your own research, you realize that the people that are picking this tea and coffee are not from Kiambu. And not because we do not have the labor. Our boys are by the roadside. Now I'm worried. So you are wondering, can you know? They need somebody to sensitize them on what is happening. We are looking up to you people to come and help us. We are also looking at a situation where you people keep telling us, or the statistics tell us, that Kiambu is a very rich county. It is true, it's a very rich county, considering the levels of other counties and where they are. But again, there is the very interior of Kiambu, that you find a family that is suffering, that has had a patient for a whole year or two, and they are in dire need of a wheelchair, and they cannot afford. And that is in Kiambu County. They are in dire need to be paid a hospital bill, but they cannot be able to do it. And you are here, and there's something very little you can be able to do to that family, and then we'll be able to help them. We want to keep these boys very busy. If we can be able to keep them busy with sports, just as Jane said, we are looking for balls and introducing them to all those things and keeping them busy. As we also keep pushing into government to get employment, because a number of these things are being pushed by the high levels of unemployment. These children have gone to school, they have degrees, some of them are very educated. But the hopelessness of that there are no jobs are making them now go to alcoholism and drug peddling, and not even drug peddling, it's just the usage. They are not peddling. And you look at the hopelessness in these boys. And now what happens? Our girls are not getting husbands. Reason, we are the people who have the highest number of single mothers in the whole of the country. We are the highest people who have, I remember the other day, I talked on radio and I said, it is the high time men start taking responsibility of their children. Outside wedlock, because other communities do. And I remember there is this one man who called me on radio and told me, Muratha, I said, your wives, tell them that you have a son or you have a daughter. And one of those men told me, it's your daughter, Muratha. Reke tukariria maguru-ini ma muru wa Maria, no ti guku. Wauga tukue. I don't know how to put that in English. But what I'm saying is this. We have gone through those situations. How do we sort them out? We can come through for these children. When you support us and educate one child, just one, not two, just one child. Like now we have an issue, even us, the women reps, we get very little money from the GAF. GAF is the National Government Affirmative Action Fund. It's very little money, but it's expected to take children to school. But when we come to you people and you help us and support us, just take one child to school. Pay high school for just one child. Pay university for just one child. You make a generation change within your very little circle. So my prayer is that you give us that support. Help us to do what we can be able to do. Help us even to support our own people. Like now we need such like systems, beautiful ones that can be able to speak to our people. So that then when we go inside those villages, we are able to speak to them. And what they need, number one, they need a lot of hope. Because the state of hopelessness in our county is very bad because of unemployment. So when we speak to them, when you come to Kenya and we give you an opportunity to come and speak to them, when you come to those schools and we give you an opportunity to come to our schools, go to the school that you went to, just make a contribution, buy them some books, buy a child a uniform, buy a pair of shoes to a child, you will have changed a generation. So we are praying to God that we'll be able to work together with you people. We are praying that you're going to enable us because we believe we are the people who are going to change our community. Watu wa Kiambu muko? Unajua watu wa Laikipia wanajichocha na hawako. Ni Jane na Bishop. Where are they? Watu wa Kiambu tuko? Kiambu Kiambua! Laikipia And as many as are for Kiambu say aye. And as many as are for Laikipia say nay. The ayes have it. So we really want to thank God that this is where we are. So those of you who thought that I I have not stopped doing what you loved me doing. It's only that we have not yet started. When I go speaking to them, you will be watching me on YouTube again. I'll be recording. I'll be making them available on YouTube. Before we leave this place, we will need to get very good cameras so that when we go there, we record those programs and we post them on YouTube, and you keep following us. When we have needs, we'll be speaking to you people. When you can be able to do just one, if you can be able to just buy us one ball to go and change a community in Raleigh, you buy us one ball to go and speak to that one boy in Gatondo North or Gatondo South, we will be happy. To go and speak to any other girls out there and make them have a future, because even the girls are also getting frustrated, not just the boy. It's only that I talk about the boy a lot. But when you also look at the life of our girls, we need to keep helping these children. But above all, I want to work so much on this issue of refusing that our boys should rot in jail. The other day, there was a boy who had just stolen a laptop like this one from a school. And they were taken to remand because the parents could not pay 10,000, just 10,000 shillings for cash bail. And there were 4 boys. One was 16, the other one was 14, 15, and 2 others were 17. And they were there. And they found the laptop in the field, in the school field. Then the policeman was telling me they're just called innocent criminals. They just picked them, they were about 5, and they went and distributed them in class. And that was enough reason to take them to prison. So I had to go to Gatondo North and pay 10,000. We still had not gotten money from the government, but I had to pay from my own pocket. So when we have you people and we walk with you, and I asked you a question, why should a 16-year-old boy go to prison because he picked a computer from the field? Just 16 years, go to prison because of a computer. And I am looking at a moment where we will be working with you. And because you people have kept on inviting me time and again, now I have come at the right time. And at the time when I need a lot of your support. Now I come to speak that we need we need your support and we need to work with you. And when God gives us that time, we also have proper visas with multiple entries. Koguo na guka no tuke tumukori oro guku tumwire kira twagira timutinde mugitira Muratha twaririe rudi no ndu wa kumwariria murehe mbia tuthondeke ciana, and we look at a future. And I want to believe that when we come to you and we come with agendas, I know you people fear Kenya. I don't want to imagine that. I don't want to imagine that I do not know what you people have gone through. I know you have sent money for land, and land was bought, and you have sent a paper that there is land. I know you have sent money for a flat to be built, and photos were sent of a building that was upcoming. And every stage you are shown. But when you came home, you are told, and you do not know what to do. But we want to assure you that we want to be tried and tested. We have been tried and tested, and we want to say we are true to our calling. And the Wajiko we have in our country today is a smart Wajiko. The smart Wajiko who made the decision that shocked the whole country. The smart Wajiko who beat systems, who beat the system, the sitting president, the sons of the who's are who's, and the media and the system and the deep state. And Wajiko made sure that this time it is the Hasra moment. So if that is the kind of a leader we are working with, then it can tell you that in the next 5 years, if we will not have delivered, we'll be shown the door peacefully and be told this is the way to go. So you have to support us. We have a very smart Wajiko on the ground. A smart Wajiko who told Kanini, we love you, young man. You've done everything for us. But because you're not supporting the Hustler Nation, we're not going with you. This is the Wajiko we have on the ground. So can we start telling ourselves that we need to speak to our people? And one thing I've loved about the people of diaspora is that you love Kenya. Most of the news we hear from you. And we keep asking ourselves, because you talk to anybody in America, they will ask you, and you are like, hey, you already are aware of Kawera Mwangaza as we have not followed. So one thing we have come to know is that you people love your country. Far away from home, we've realized that you follow your country and you love your country. So when we come to you, we expect you to come through and support us and help us. And because you know I talk and talk and talk, I can talk and talk and talk. So can we keep the rest for next time? When I come for trainings, I will come one day to train. Together, modehe. Tikudo tara ukufara ugomoka ukotwalerie. I'm looking for that moment when we will come and speak and have enough time. Anyway, that was on a light note. So that when we have time, we come and talk to the singles, talk to the married, talk to the widows, talk to the divorcees. They are also there. And I've always told them on radio and TV, do getolera kihiko, kiaruo, nigetha wirondo wendete Ngai. Ogokua utagathwo ni inoro utige gukutukiria. So when it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's better you kiuraroga. May the Lord bless you. Are you going to come through for us? When we need your help, are you going to support us? Uga if you need to support. So we'll let you know when time comes, we'll let you know the journey we want you to walk with us. And in the next 5 years, we'll still come and stand here and talk of the goodness of the Lord. May the Lord bless you.
Don't say, Nemogoka. Nemogoka. This is what I wanted to do. I've realized you sing. I loved you for singing. I even heard you singing my song. And I didn't know that you follow what we do here.
I do.
Okay. We want to ask this lady any question. But I'm a very domed Mukolino. There are questions that we are going to ask outside the media because kuna watu anafanya dema amesema. And I'm sure this time you're going to get a lot of call. You can all come. You online, before we let you go, and before we can ask her questions, hapa tuulize maswali sababu, tungetaka tusikia hata hii mambo, sio akeki kutupa hiyo ni ingine, ulitueleza, lakini atueleza kwa nini ugonga tena. Wale wako pale, if you like to bless, because how much does a ball cost, modo wetu Junior? A soccer ball here? From Walmart? About $11. How much do balls cost, Jane? Did you know? Ball, movira wa soccer. Kenya. Huh? 3,000?
A good ball.
500. That's what they cost in Kenya.
Yes.
And here it costs what? 11. Here it costs 1/3 of that. If you are there before we go out, communication, can you put cash up, KCC, before we open the discussion? If you're online, you didn't come to church because you are watching game and those who lost Argentina, Argentina won, whoever is a game. I know some of you are mad you didn't come, that's why. Please, I'm sure you blessed and we have sucked the energy and the dam ya hawa watu. Na ni vibaya sana na nitaambia aongee hiyo. Naomi usually says better than I do because she talks prophetically. You can send something towards the MPs, write it to KCC Cash App, but underline there for our congressmen. Hapa tunawaita congressmen because we're in the Congress. Write for our congressmen towards that. And after you have done that, we are going to bid farewell because we want to talk in-house. So that next time when we call you, unakuja. Because you cannot get the same banquet kama tupile tufanya. So wewe uko kwa online, if you want to bless, just like KCC Cash App, and you have the number there? Communication, uko pale, but underline there for Congress women. When they meet together, they're not going to fight. We're going to do the independent way. Adwaidi, makaga aneko umarowa, they will know what to do. Now, after you have done that, you online, we value, and say the last word on the online before I shut them. We go here. Very well.
So thank you so much, those of you who are watching us online. We are here in Atlanta, Georgia, and we thank God for the reception that we have gotten. It's such a family church. We really want to thank God for you who are watching us, and we want to believe that you're also going to partner with us. We also are in need of uniforms. These boys who play these balls, when they have uniform, they feel, and especially in the mood that we have of the World Cup now, they feel that when they are enabled, they can look into the future with its brightness. So may the Lord bless you as you look at the opportunity of supporting your people. And what we will need to tell you is that once you are able to support us, we will show you, we'll be able to show you what we have done with our people by the grace of God. Thank you.
Those watching online, God bless you. Keep loving our nation, Kenya. Let me communication when we are off.